These for you guys, I'll give it to you when, so you guys can post them so your crew understands when we talk about colorization. So again, the training will be in 2 sessions. First one is classroom education, and then the second one, if you guys so choose, and you want to come for the, because that's the fun part, the actual burn and learn.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is get with, I know Weagle wants one done, and get like 2 company or 2 departments together, so we do the burn and learn, which is really good. You'll see the videos and so forth as we go through this. So, what are the 2 types of thermal imaging cameras we have in the fire service? Want to take a guess? What are the 2 types that we have?
What do you mean, 2 brands?
No.
Oh, 2 types.
There's 2 types of thermal imaging cameras that we have in the fire service.
Heat thermal. I'm not sure.
Okay. Situational awareness thermal imaging cameras and decision-making cameras. You guys know the difference between the 2?
No.
Better coloration, right?
What do you guys have here? What's this one?
That's the
Situation.
Decision?
Yeah.
Decision making?
Yeah.
This is a situational awareness.
Okay.
And we're going to get in depth with this so you guys understand.
Right.
How long have you guys had these?
Well, that one's only been less than a year, but this one here we've had for several years, and we have another one on another truck that's out in service, so we've had that for several years.
Who bought these?
Evan.
Well, that one Ray bought,
Evan?
and Evan
Well,
bought the
yeah,
other 2.
originally the first one was bought when Evan was chief.
First 2.
Because I'm going to explain something to you, what Evan did in Cantville, so we'll... Not to throw Evan under the bus,
Well,
He kind of throws
he
himself
gets
under the bus
used to
sometimes.
it. He gets
so we'll
used to
talk
it.
about that. So your guys' chick camera, the FLIR K series, the K2, it produces thermal images of 160 by 120 resolutions, which is 19,200 pixels, and it has a 9 hertz frequency. The camera has 2 temperature modes, a high and low sensitivity. So if you guys notice that when you turn this on, you cannot go to other modes. Right now, this mode is in what we call TI Basic, okay? They also have search and rescue mode, which actually would be good for incident command, because that would only go up to 300 degrees. Anything over 300 degrees, your camera is going to get saturated with red color and so forth. But right now, you're set up for interior with TI Basic, and we'll get more in depth with that. The only problem with these, because these are a situational awareness camera, 9 hertz means you get 9 pictures, you get 9 slides per, or yeah, 9 pictures per second. Very, very low. So what happens is, and we'll go through this, is if you're inside and you're scanning and you're looking, and you're gonna, and when you like go from here to here, there's gonna be a lag in between. So if you scan too quick, you're gonna miss what you're looking for.
Right.
Okay. NFPA 1801, the recommendation on NFPA 1801 is no less than 25 hertz in a camera, okay? A lot of your situational awareness ticks are going to be anywhere from 9 to 16 hertz. There's 2 that don't. This here is mine, my personal one. This is a seat camera. This is 25 hertz. This is a 320 by 240 resolution. This has the same features as my decision-making tick that I have in Canfield on my ladder truck, except this is a situational awareness tick. You know, we'll talk more about situational as we get going. High sensitivity is from 0 to 300. Have you guys ever heard of high sensitivity, low sensitivity in the thermal imaging camera? Okay, so what that means is high sensitivity is from 0 degrees to 300 degrees. You're not going to see any colorization. Low sensitivity kicks in at 300, depends on your camera, like ours in Canfield is 302 degrees. That's where you get your colorization, and I'll show you on your cameras as we get going. That's the difference between high sensitivity and low sensitivity. Your cameras right now are set up to be low sensitivity. Oh, actually you get both. You get low and you get high. You can lock it. But the problem is, the only way you can lock that, you have to download a program that has to be done on the computer.
Right.
Because you guys can't go through the mode on this.
Right.
I can go through on mine
Right.
and on a decision-making tip. Okay. So it's fully operational up to 500 degrees for 3 minutes, because this is a situational awareness thing. The insulation inside the camera itself is not as good as a decision-making tip. So you need to be very, very careful with this camera when you guys are taking this interior. Your camera has what they call using an MXX. What it is, there's two things. It overlays, so it's a camera and the infrared. It overlays each other. So when you turn this on and you're in an outside environment, beautiful picture. Nice and clear. This thing is built rugged. The only problem is, as soon as you go into a smoke environment, the camera blurs up on you. It's not your fault,
Right.
It's the camera itself, because this is a situational tip. And it has the MSX, okay, which is a multi-spectacle dynamic imaging. So what it does, if you read here, it says here, actually has two cameras, a thermal imager and a visible light camera. Every time you take a picture, both a thermal image and a visible image are captured simultaneously, one overlaying the other one. That's on the K2. What's good about these cameras? If you're inside and you have an electrical problem, you go to the electrical box and you scan your electrical box. If you see it show up white, it means you've got a problem.
Right.
And I'll tell you right now, this worked good for me in two calls we had already. One was at the Hampton Inn. We had a call, and went in there, and this light socket, I put my camera up to the light socket, and it came out real white. You can hear it. The white color. So that's showing you that you have electrical problems. These are great. This camera is great if you guys go to Smells and Bells and you have electrical issues.
Yep.
Use this, go to your electrical box. It's going to pinpoint where your problem is.
Yeah.
So, your K2 is a situational awareness camera. It's not a decision making. The difference is this doesn't have the insulation at a decision making tip. So this can only be in high heat for so long. And then what happens is, and I'll show you that picture coming up, is a red icon is going to come up in the middle of the camera. It's going to start flashing. That means this camera is overheating. And what's going to happen is if it's in that high heat too long, it's going to shut down on you. Situational ticks are not recommended for exact temperature readings. And I'm going to talk about the spot temperature here coming up. Size up, search, and directing hose streams. These are actually designed for you as firefighters to find your egress, get yourself oriented in case you get lost, finding a door frame. You can actually locate your hose when you look into a camera. You can actually see, because thermals detect heat. They can't read smoke, they can't read gases, they only read heat. If you had a hose line, it'll pick up the darkness of the hose because of the coldness that's running through the hose. So these are very, very good to use if you're inside an interior and you can't find your way out, but you can find the hose, and you'll find it with that camera. What they're used for is staying oriented, locating the fire, locating other downed firefighters, and then locating your egress points. The nice thing about these are they're very rugged, which is nice. Some of your your situational awareness ticks aren't, but this is very rugged in design. So the specifications is the field of view is 35 by 47 degrees. What that means is 35 vertical, 47 horizontal. Your temperature mode, you have two, a high and low. So what that means is when you're interior, you want to try to keep your camera in high sensitivity. That's below 302 degrees. When you turn this to low sensitivity, you're going to see a little green icon up in the left-hand corner.
Yep.
That means you're in low sensitivity. That means you got to do something. It means you're in over 302 degrees Fahrenheit. Right? So you need to do something, cool the atmosphere down, or get out of that area. Application mode, again, it's TI Basic, which is your camera set at TI Basic. All cameras, by NFPA standards, when you turn them on, have to go into TI Basic. Right? And then some certain cameras have different modes. Like we have 3 K50s, and I have the new Fire Attack Pro, which I highly recommend. We'll talk a little bit about that. But I can change modes. In the Flare K50, we have 5 modes, and then on the decision-making tick from C, we have 3 modes. Now I'll show you what those are. So you have a low resolution. You're not going to get the crisp, clear picture when you're interior. But again, with these here, outside, you get a really good, clear picture. But once you get in a smoke environment, you're not going to get that clear picture. So again, low sensitivity. If you wanted to put this strictly in low sensitivity, what you have to do, you have to hook it into a computer, You gotta go on the internet and get all that stuff. I highly recommend keeping them where you have them.
Yeah.
What that means, it's locked in low sensitivity at all times. It prevents a delay when encountering high heat conditions. And then that green triangle will remain visible at all times. The way you have them is perfect, so I wouldn't even mess with them. And search and rescue mode, the nice thing about search and rescue mode, and I'll talk about the survey mode that I have, at 200 degrees is when you would see colorization. That's good for, like, if you're quick doing a 360, you're gonna if you see any high heat, it's gonna pick up at 200 versus 302 degrees. That's survey. But you can, again, the only way you guys can change it, you have to go into the computer. So I just recommend keeping on that. You're just not gonna get any colorization until 302 degrees.
Okay.
So this is a set, Seekatech Pro VRS that we have. You can record on it. We have this on 301, our ladder truck. It was designed by firefighters for firefighters. So Andy Starnes, he's a retired chief in North Carolina. Him and I became good friends when I got so involved into the thermal imaging. He helped design this camera, the Fire Pro 300, and he actually goes around and does training for Seek, plus he owns his own business, which you'll see from those Insight Training, LLC. This camera here has 320 by 240 resolution, which is the minimum that NFPA standard recommends. So 320 by 240 is your resolution. That's where you're going to get your crisp, clear picture. Has 76,800 pixels. And then it builds on the unmatched image quality. What's nice about this too here is this will go up to 1202 degrees, and it includes survey mode. So what the survey mode is, and we'll show you here coming up in a second what that is. With this camera here, it's called mixed gain pixel technology. So what that means is, if I'm scanning here and there's fire over here and I start scanning, I don't have any lag when I'm doing it. A lot of your cameras are going to have lag anywhere from this one here, this camera here, could be as long as 4 seconds. So when you go out and train your guys, make sure that when they're scanning, they go nice and slow, okay? Because the lag in here is going to be way behind compared to that. On this camera that we have, we don't have that high and low sensitivity because of the mixed gain that we have in here. So, and you'll see a video coming up of the 2 different cameras. When they take it away from the heat and bring it back, you'll see this one here that we have doesn't change. With the other one, it takes like a second or 2, and then you get the colorization. At any time, you guys have any questions or you want to add something, please do, okay?
So I have a question.
Yes.
On your smaller tick,
Yep.
let's say we bought them, if we could get them bought for some of the interior guys.
Yep.
To have on their
Yep.
tank. They hold up the heat better than ours would?
Yes, they would.
Okay.
They would help better. The thing with those you want to be careful is they're great for you, your guys that have them. You just got to be careful that if you're in that high heat,
Right.
you got to make sure that you get out or do something.
Right, if it shows that you're in that temperature, just either
You
get the heck out.
get a hose, you spray your hose line on the on the heat and so forth. And you'll see when we talk about convection current. These I highly recommend. Again, I bought this for myself because I do my size ups and so forth. And again, this has the same things that we do on the decision making tip. It's just the insulation on this. This here will withstand 500 degrees for only a minute, 250 degrees for 5 minutes. The Seek Pro Decision one can withstand 250 degrees for 20 minutes, 500 degrees for 5 minutes because of the insulation. These are nice to have. I'm actually getting 2 more of these for our 2 fast attacks.
Right.
And then we have our decision-making ticks on our apparatuses. But I always, policy that I have in my department is first new engine comes in, grabs the tick. Every engine that pulls in, the tick comes off the apparatus. So, on a camera, this is a Seek camera. That's that overheating icon that I was talking about. Alright, so basically, this here tells you that this camera is in TI Basic Plus. The plus means you have a spot temperature here. Newer cameras from 2021 and now, they took NFPA 1801 took the spot temperature out of TI Basic. So if you have a new camera, like when I turn that on and it goes to TI Basic, I don't have a spot temperature. If I go to TI Basic Plus, the spot temperature shows up. We don't want firefighters looking at the spot temperature and using that because you're not getting the temperature of the whole picture, right? We want people to look at colorization. I'm going to show you the colorization. I think you guys will understand it when I'm done with this presentation. So again, this is of course, your temperature bar, right? And this is what you're going to be looking at. When you're looking at the picture here, okay, yellow's 300, in your camera, mine's 302 to 599, and I'll show you yours here in a second. So this is what we want firefighters to look at. When you see this colorization, you know that you're in high heat. Okay, you got to do something about it.
Right.
If you get it below 302, you won't get no colorization. It's going to be grayscale is what they call it. Okay, this is what I have on my camera. TI basic. You don't see the spot temperature here. Okay, no grayscale. TI basic plus 136. This is telling me I'm in plus. This tells me I'm recording. I can record with this, which is nice. You guys, if you guys get this for a couple of your firefighters or even your command chiefs, you can record with this,
Right.
which is really, really good. Because sometimes if you record something, fire investigation may be interested in seeing what you have in here. Okay? So this comes with video recording, and so doesn't the seat camera that we have. So again, no spot temperature, colorization will start at 302 degrees. There's my survey mode. What's nice about survey mode is you see here, I'm getting colorization at 150 on this camera and on the one that I have. You guys aren't going to get colorization on this until 302 degrees, okay? But with survey mode and search and rescue mode, if you were to change those to search and rescue, once I get over 300, I'm going to get that saturation of red. So I got to get out of that mode and I got to get into TI basic.
Right.
Okay. So again, whenever you got, again, you guys are good with this. You're not going to get early colorization. These are nice for Chief Ray. If he was to get on scene and he's got smoke showing, but you can't see no flames, he walks around at 150 degrees. He's going to see colorization,
And then no, yeah.
and he's going to know, hey, I got fire here. Okay. That's the nice thing about survey mode in the seek camera. Okay. And the nice thing about Seek will come, we'll send a sales rep and we'll demo them, but you gotta have heat. You gotta have some kind of heat.
Right.
So if you guys so choose to come to do the live burn with us, you'll see our cameras on how they work compared, and you'll see how your cameras work when we do that live fire. Okay.
Check out the power survey.
I don't know why this is doing this in when I have it in this mode here. It's kind of shaking, but so just kind of watch this. See, he's in survey mode.
Colorizes superheated areas beginning at 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 degrees.
This at 300
That may not
degrees.
seem like a lot of heat for a firefighter.
See the different colorization? You can see the reds. That's telling you in very, very high heat.
To civilian, this type of heat can be fatal to their respiratory tract and burns to their skin and other exposed areas. Make sure you
See,
understand.
he went from survey mode to TI basic. TI basic, now he's in survey mode.
Use survey mode and investigative modes in your cameras to find the fire faster, not miss superheated areas, and more important, make the area tenable for those trapped inside. Stay intelligent, vehicle.
That's a nice beauty about having survey mode or search and rescue mode. But again, you guys can't change it unless you go download the thing on the computer. Here's another one. What I want you to look at, okay, over here, you can see convection currents. And I got some more videos you're going to see with convection. See the convection currents?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see that with the naked eye. That's why it's very important to have a thermal imaging camera when you're in interior. And when you put that camera up and you see those convection currents, convection equates to direction. That's telling you where the fire is, okay? So again, not all fire departments are NFPA compliant. A lot of fire departments across the country don't realize that you need this training. Everyone has to be trained in thermal imaging camera. And then you have to be trained on hands-on type stuff also. We'll talk about that. So here are your standards. 1001 we all had when we took firefighter 1, 1408 and 1801. These are the two standards that we have to follow. Now people say, well, NFPA is just a standard they can only recommend. True, but anything that ever says shall, I highly, highly encourage you to follow. because if something goes south,
Right.
somebody gets hurt, somebody gets killed, they come in and do an investigation, they're gonna reference these two policies, okay? So, these standards are extremely valuable and need to be understood by all departments using thermal imaging cameras. Through education and training on these standards, firefighters would understand that thermal imaging training and education is mandatory. It isn't an option, and due to the failure of our organizations to properly educate firefighters on this device, we continue to see injuries and misuse of this device. Chief Starnes told me, there is lawyers out there that specialize in going after fire departments. Let's say, for instance, you guys get on scene. He says, my daughter's up in that bedroom. You gotta go get her. You guys go up there, you don't have a thermal imaging camera, you can't find her. If she ends up dying. There's lawyers out there that will come and find out if you did not use that thermal imaging camera, you have it on the truck,